Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of ToolKit. Tonight is a very special night. We are celebrating our 10th episode, brought to you by SKN on Chain, which is also celebrating its first anniversary. So in this episode, we will be interviewing a number of individuals who I consider to be cultural icons. We have in our first segment, Antonio Abenati Liebert out of Nevis. Good evening, Mr. Liebert. How are you?
Good evening, and it's good to be on ToolKit, and I want to say congratulations to ToolKit for celebrating their 10th edition of this TV series, and also congratulations and happy anniversary to Unchained. I think that the person behind Unchained and behind ToolKit, Miss Wyatt, she's very talented and very ambitious lady, and I want to say kudos to her on her achievements.
Thank you so much, Abu. Now, Abu, you have been someone who has been in the entertainment and cultural industry for some time. You have made significant contributions to the cultural art form, to Culturama, to, I would say, Carnival, and these events as a whole. What inspired you to get involved?
Well, it all started as a young lad in school. We used to have a lot of talent shows at the Gingerland Secondary School. And I remember my teacher, former teacher, Everett Weber Herbert of One Radio, he was the one who actually inspired me to get on stage. And I remember that it was when the Gingerland Secondary School was celebrating, I think, its 10th anniversary. I was asked to do a song, a calypso. And then is when it all, Abenati all started. Because just before I went on stage, the MC, Mr. Charles Busso at that time, said, Tony, because I was known as Tony then, what's your stage name? And out of nowhere, I just said, Abenati. And I sang that song that was made popular by Elimat, Ilele Shang Shang. And you know, at the end of that chorus, an Elimat whining, and it was an Abenati whining. And so the name stuck. The name stuck after that. So there's where it all got started. Gingerland Secondary School, Mrs. Erlin, Amri, Lornet, Manners, those teachers pushed me. And so we used to do a lot of talent shows. I used to do a lot of singing then. At that time, I could have sung. I used to be in the church choir, the junior choir. And even before I was a senior, I was promoted to the senior choir in church. And I used to like calypso a lot. I used to like music. And so I used to listen to ABS radio every afternoon coming from school, listen to Swallow Short Shot. And that's where the whole thing started. I began to like music, so I bought a little keyboard and I started to learn to play. And then it all took off. Upon leaving school, I went into the Casanova band, I think it was. And then from the Casanova band, I decided that I want to sing calypso. Mm-hmm. And strange enough, when I went to the band house in 1991, I said, fellas, I have a calypso, I want to sing. And the guys laughed at me. 1992, I went back and I said, look, guys, I'm serious. I am going to be singing this year, and I'm not leaving the band house until when I get to practice. And then is where it all started for me on stage. I went over to Trinidad to do some studies in agriculture, and the whole carnival thing inspired me, going to calypso tents, and so, you know, it sort of inspired me to get into the entertainment industry. Soca music then was not popular as it is now, but for me, calypso has always been my genre of music. And so, you know, I came back to Nevis and I continued. In 1998, I was tired of teaching. I actually was tired of teaching. And I got a call one day and asked if I was interested in joining the Culturama team. I was working with Culturama in the background for some time, working with the Junior Calypso competition. In 1997, I was asked to chair the Senior Calypso subcommittee. And then in 1998, I was asked, would you like to join the Culturama Secretariat? And I said yes, because I actually wanted to get out of teaching. After teaching for 17 years, I think that I thought then that I had enough. And so I went over to the Culturama Secretariat. I remember former Premier Joseph Parry in the House debating one day, and he said, when I went over to the Culturama Secretariat, I think that he was somewhat opposed to them taking me out of the school and placing me in the Department of Culture. And Mr. Parry said in the House, you take the man out of the school, he's a trained agriculturist, and all you all did was to chop off the agri and left him with culture. I always remember that, and I've always reminded Mr. Parry about that statement. So these ways it all got started for me, and then being with Culturama, I got involved in the whole entertainment industry, and this where it started.
Mm-hmm. Well, Abba, that was a very in-depth overview of who you are and the contributions you would have made to the entertainment industry in St. Kitts and Nevis. But speaking of Abo, I know you have this company called Abo's Digital Factory. How did that come about? You did mention that you worked with Ellie Matt.
No, not worked. I sang one of his songs.
Okay, you sang with Ellie Matt.
I sang one of his songs.
You sang one
at
of
a
his
school
songs?
At a school concert.
Ah, okay. So you're a Calypsonian.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
I entered the Senior Calypso competition in Nevis in 1992. I placed fourth. In 1993, I placed first runner-up. And I'm going to tell you something else. I have been known since 1993 as the uncrowned king of Calypso in Nevis. Because in 1993, when Bingy sang that song, Poor Man's Cry, and Any Cock Will Do, I had two songs. Is aid we want and not AIDS. That time the AIDS was rampant. And so I sang that song. And Elevate the Pan Man was my second song. And at the end of the competition, person thought that Abernathy was crowned king. The judges thought that Bingy, they gave Bingy the crown. And I remember leaving the cultural complex that night, and a guy from Rollins, Hug Brown, said, the uncrowned king. And from that day until now, wherever Hug Anthony Brown sees me, uncrowned king.
So even though you are dubbed as the uncrowned king, what are some of your greatest achievements?
Well, being able to enter Calypso, the Calypso competition, because when I started off in this whole thing, I always wanted to play in a band. Always wanted to play in a band. And so I played with the Casanovas for some time, from 87 until about 1990. And then I wanted to sing Calypso. And being able to get on stage and sing Calypso. I actually sang Calypso for 3 years. I can't tell you on camera why I stopped singing Calypso though. But I sang in 92, 93 I came first run up, 94 I came fourth again. So it was fourth, second, fourth. And then I said, I had enough of this. And I moved on. But in terms of my achievements, being able to establish Abo's Digital Factory in 1999. That's a production recording studio in Gingerland, Nevis. It has been going now for what? Some 20 years. We actually started in 2000, some 20 years. And being able to work with some of the top bands in St. Kitts and Nevis. I've worked with Small Axe, I've worked with Sugar Band, I've worked with Grandmasters, I've worked with out of Nevis Odyssey, I've worked with Casanova, I've worked with Ultrasonics Band, and being able to sit in the studio with those guys and see how their creative juices flow. You know, it brought a lot of joy to me. I've worked with D-Vibes, Steve Dublin and his crew after they broke away from Sugar Band. So I've been around for some time. In terms of my other achievements, I think it was 2008 or 2009, the Nevis Island administration thought it best to give me an Independence Award for my accomplishments in the field of culture. And then last year, in 2019, the federal government bestowed an honor on me, a Medal of Honor. And I think, you know, that was one of my proudest moments to be given that award by the federal government for my contributions to culture and Culturama over the years.
And I mean, for you, Abu, you have been teaching, you have made an impact on agriculture as a teacher. You have worked in culture for so many years. And I do believe that you deserve these awards because, I mean...
Well, I in fact enjoyed teaching. I've had many, many successes in teaching. It was only 1 year that I can recall that I did not have any major successes in teaching. That year, the students' papers were misplaced, and so I didn't have any passes. But every year, 90%, 80%, 85%. In fact, 1 year, and that was before I received formal training in Trinidad in agriculture, the students at the Gingerland Secondary School got the best, they returned the best agricultural science results in the entire Caribbean. And I was asked by CXC to come and mark papers, but I was never really interested in marking papers. And so, you know, as a teacher, I've had many successes. There are many persons who have excelled, and when I look at them today, I feel proud.
But I mean, you spoke about your success in agriculture. The question is, do you still have something to contribute to agriculture? Because you've been working in culture for so many years. After retiring from Culturama, what are your plans?
Actually, when I retire from government in the next 2 years, I've decided that I'm going to go back into agriculture, especially now with the corona pandemic. We see that there's a greater need for production, and so I've started to put on paper all of my plans. I've looked at an area in my backyard, just about a half an acre of land that I intend to cultivate, put down some shade houses, and get into major production. So after culture, I'll now go back into culture. After culture, I'll now go back into agriculture. And I hope that that would make Mr. Parry proud.
So, Abu, as you said earlier, I mean, you taught for what, 17 years?
17 years.
Yes, and I understand that your mother was a teacher as well.
Yes, my mother taught for somewhat 44 years. She actually was the head teacher at the Charlestown Boys School, and then she went to the Gingerland Primary School, and in fact that school has been renamed in honor, the Joycelyn Library Primary School.
I mean, but how does that feel for you? I mean, as her son, and for you to follow in her footsteps as a teacher?
I feel proud. In fact, whenever I pass the school and I see the big signboard, Joycelyn Library Primary School, it brings some joy and pride. When I see students who I would have thought like Seba Jones, I know that Seba was one of her favorite students, and she was also one of my favorite students. There are a number of persons that my mom would have taught, and I ended up teaching them as well. So, you know, I've been through the whole works.
So apart from being in education, apart from being in agriculture, you've spent most of your years...
Most of my years in the field of culture.
So my question for you is that, how has the entertainment industry changed over the years? Has it changed for better or for worse? Well,
yes, the entertainment industry in Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, I must say, has changed. In fact, when I went to Culturama, the Culturama Secretariat in 1998, we were on the verge of celebrating the 25th anniversary. The 25th anniversary would have been celebrated in 1999. And when I got to the secretariat, I said to them, it's about time that Culturama go regional or international. And so I was instrumental in introducing the International Artist Show to the Culturama calendar in 1999 for the 25th anniversary. The legendary reggae singer Joseph Hill and the Culture Band, I was instrumental in bringing them to Nevis. Subsequent years, we had people like Arrow, we had Freddie McGregor. We have had a number of persons over the years who would have performed at the Freedom Concert, Bojo Banton. And so, you know, looking back on those achievements, those things that I would have brought to Culturama, brings a lot of joy to me as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Culturama has indeed grown over the years.
Yeah.
And persons have been making significant contributions to the art form, but some persons are of the opinion that it has changed. I mean, with the addition of the fetes and all of these activities, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, to be honest with you, Devon, in 2015 or 16, somewhere around there, the person that chaired the committee then, and she would testify to you, Mrs. Deborah Tyrrell, that I always said we need to have a fete or fetes being a part of the festival. People thought that ABBA was taking Culturama down the wrong road, because there are some people who feel that Culturama in 2020 should be of the same or similar format as Culturama was in 1974. Mm-hmm. And in my view, culture evolves. And in order for festivals to remain relevant, in order for us to be competitive, now there are other regional festivals around the same time. Antigua, there's Grenada, there's Anguilla, there's Crop Over in Barbados, there's Caribana. And so in order for us to stay competitive and relevant, we have to make changes. There are persons from the 1974 Culturama Committee who are still telling me that decorating our stages the way we do now is not the way to go. They feel that we should still be decorating our stages with coconut branches, what do you call it, the national flower of St. Kitts and Nevis. The flamboyant, you know, those pretty flowers, and the shak. They are of the opinion. And they are of the opinion that the costumes on stage should still be made out of flower bag, if they still make cotton flower bags and crocus bags. Now, we know that we have a modern version of crocus bag. But they feel that the original crocus bag, the flower bags, when Culturama started, that Culturama should still be that. And they feel that people today should be volunteering their services as they did in 74, 75, 76. And I've said to them, no, we cannot continue to take people's services for granted. Yes, there are persons who can volunteer, but we need to start paying people for their services. And so in 2017, when the then Minister of Culture, the Honorable Mark Brantley, then called me one morning and said, Abo, I'm going to name you as the chairman of Culturama this year. I said immediately to myself, we're bringing a fete. And in that year, I think we brought the wet fete. And from then, you know, we have seen fetes, the 4-in-1. We have seen the glow fete. And we have seen fetes being added to Culturama now. We have seen changes in terms of the parade. We have people like Seba Jones who are now have, you know, some real carnival type costumes. That's Royal Rampage. We have the Fun Lovers from St. James's. They too, you know, the bikini and the beads and the skin, things that you, Devon, would stay on the sidewalk and admire. And so, you know, Culturama has changed. And some would say that it has changed for the worse, but I would say that Culturama has changed for the better. And it will continue to change because we cannot be stuck in the same mode from year to year. In fact, I was planning to rearrange the calendar for Culturama this year to have the more hyped activities on the weekend. In fact, my thing was to put the Wet Fete on the Saturday night, chuck Calypso show inside the week. Nobody going Calypso show. Everybody going Wet Fete. Everybody going Glow Fete. Everybody going 4-in-1 Fete. Put those activities on the big weekend. Of course, you know that we couldn't change the Queen show to the Sunday night, from the Sunday night, because people would stone me. People would stone me. The year ladies would stone me because they want to use Sunday to go to the hairdressers and all the makeup artists and do their hair and come out on Sunday night. But that would have remained. But it would have been Soca Monarch on the Friday night. Tonight, well, we are recording this now. Tonight would have been the Calypso show, not the Calypso show, but the Wet Fete. Last night would have been Soca Monarch. Friday, Saturday, Wet Fete, Sunday, the Queen show, and then we're going to Juve Monday and Parade on Tuesday. I was planning this year to implement that change in the calendar.
But I mean, Abo, with all of these changes, I mean, with the coronavirus pandemic, canceling Culturama, how has that affected the Nivision public? Because you have persons in Nevis, in St. Kitts, who look forward to these events year after year. There are persons in the diaspora who always come home. How has it affected the people?
Well, I must say that it has had a negative impact on the entire St. Kitts and Nevis community. There are vendors from St. Kitts that would come over to Nevis and vend, and I'm sure that they are losing on that income. There are a number of vendors who have not been able to ply their trade for the better part of 2000, and they were looking forward to some sort of activities over the Culturama weekend where they could make some money. I know that there were a number of family reunions that were being planned for this year. Definitely. A number of class reunions that were being planned for this year. And so it has impacted the whole entertainment industry in a negative way. I know that there are a number of persons who are planning to come and stream with new events. In fact, this year we processed about 19 requests for fringe activities. We were trying to find places on the calendar to offer to these people to do their fringe activities. And I was saying to the committee, look, we can no longer have one activity stage on a night. We have to give people options. So if a man wants to go to Wet Fete, he go to Wet Fete. And if he wants to go to some other event that is clashing with the Wet, let him have that option. And so that is what we were planning on doing this year, giving people options rather than forcing persons to go to one event that is being staged on that night. And so the pandemic, yes, it has a negative impact on the economy. Our guest houses, our hotels, our restaurants, the true people, the bands. And so, people in the diaspora cannot come home to visit their friends and families. And so it has had a negative impact. But we are hoping that in time to come, in another few months, that we'll be over with the COVID-19 and we will look towards a successful Culturama 21. And I must say this, Culturama 2020 has been cancelled, but not the staging of Culturama 46. We have postponed the staging of 46 to 2021. And some persons may wonder, well, why you say that, Abo? In 1983, when we were supposed to celebrate the 10th staging of Culturama, or the 10th anniversary, there was no Culturama because of the independence celebrations that was supposed to come up in September. And so postponing the anniversary or the staging is nothing new. We did it in 1983. We are doing it again in 2020. We will postpone the staging of Culturama 46 to 2021.
And Culturama over the years, as I would have stated, has really evolved. I mean, with the addition of the feds and the different activities, Culturama has grown. As you said, it would have been 46 years.
46 years. Well, the
46
46
years.
staging.
The 46
Because
staging,
if you
because
count from 74,
Yes.
this year should have been really the 47th.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Culturama has really grown. But in terms of the way forward, with COVID-19, we're battling with COVID-19. Were there any plans, let me say, in the pipeline for Culturama this year to sort of push some of the activities to a virtual platform?
Well, I think that the virtual thing came up with the coming of COVID-19 because prior to COVID-19, we were not accustomed to this virtual staging of events. Mm-hmm. Yes, events were being streamed, and you know that we have streamed Culturama events for free over the years. So persons in the diaspora would stay in their front rooms, in their living rooms, behind their big screen TVs, and would see Culturama for free. And so it is something, if COVID-19 is with us in 2021, it is something that we would have to consider. But we are hoping that they would come up with a vaccine and that we'll be able to party, long jam,
hopefully,
wet fed in 2021. If that is not possible, then we will have to, find other means of celebrating the festival.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, coronavirus, the pandemic has really had a negative impact on the entertainment industry. Because, I mean, when you put these activities to a virtual platform, it sorts of, I mean, in my opinion, it lessens the quality or the value of the product. What is your opinion on that?
Yes, it does, but not only that, but we have to think about the economic impact. How can I make money from a virtual Culturama? Persons can say yes, charge for streaming, but we have not been accustomed, at Culturama, we have not been accustomed to charge for streaming. And so if we start charging now, persons may say, oh, start to charge now. But I think that people are looking for vibe in terms of going by the bar, having a drink with their friends, sitting next to a young lady and admiring her, that sort of thing. Those are the kind of vibes that, being in the actual event, being live in the actual event, that would bring. Virtually, it would take us some of the fun out of the festival. It would take us some of the fun.
Because these are social activities,
yeah, these
but
are
you
social,
can't socialize.
These are social, you can't socialize. And so, but if that is how we would have to go forward with Culturama, then so be it. We would have to do it.
Mm-hmm. So earlier you mentioned that you were chosen to be the chairperson of the Culturama committee. That was in 2017.
2017.
So many persons out there, they're wondering, what is the difference between being the chairperson and the executive director? I'm hoping that you would be able to provide some clarity.
In fact, Devon, in 1999, well, 1998, when I came to Culturama, I came to Culturama wearing both hats. I was the executive director, the first and only executive director of the Culturama Secretariat, and I also was the chairman of Culturama in 1999. And so I wore both hats then, but it was very taxing for me. And so I remember indicating to the Honorable Malcolm Gishard at that time, boy, you need to get a chairman and let me focus on running the secretariat.
Yes.
And so from 2000, I've not been the chairman. But over the years, I've learned, well, over the years, there are many times when I've had to serve in both capacities. Mm-hmm. So it has come like nothing to me now. Being the chairman of Culturama and being the executive director, overseeing what goes on at the office, it comes like a piece of cake now. So really doesn't really matter.
So, Abo, we're going to wrap up this interview because we have had a very lengthy discussion about all of the contributions you would have made to the cultural art form. I mean, you said you would have been involved in education, involved in agriculture, and of course, Culturama. So, Abo, I know that Culturama has been cancelled, because of the pandemic and all of these things. But as I said earlier, persons are looking for something this year. Could you speak to that?
Well, in fact, Devon, we were asked to, after the cancellation, we were asked to put some activities together for Culturama. Well, not for Culturama, because Culturama was cancelled. But the Nevis Island administration wanted to offer some form of entertainment to Kittitians and to Nevisians over the weekend. Persons would have been locked in, locked away, locked down for the past, 4, almost 5 months. Curfews.
Yeah.
People have a lot of pent-up things, stress. That's been very stressful.
Just looking to get out.
People losing their work, stress. And so people were looking for some socializing this weekend. And so we had put together a short list of activities and we submitted them to the Nevis Task Force. We would have had from Wednesday of this week, we would have started. One of the features of Culturama is an event that we call Poets in the Square. But because Culturama was cancelled, we were renaming it as Nevis Peaks. And so that would have gone from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Friday, yesterday, the Department of Agriculture, they were proposing to have a fruit festival, fish festival in the heart of on the Charlestown Bayfront. And then today, Saturday, Sunshines was proposing to have a beer and wine festival at his establishment, Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, Sunday, tomorrow, we were proposing to have a car show. There was a gentleman that had approached me to do a car show, and we said yes. And then on Monday, there was a gentleman who wanted to do a boat race. And then we were looking to do some activity in Charlestown to mimic Juve. The activities actually went up to Monday because at that time, there was no indication that Tuesday would have been a holiday. We submitted them to the task force, and the task force said no. And then it was only on Sunday that we got another request. Let us do a food fair in town Monday and Tuesday, seeing that Tuesday is now a holiday. I don't want to say it on camera, but we got some kickbacks on that. The request was denied. But in fact, yesterday, Friday, we got a permit to do the food fair. But sadly, we would not be allowed to play any loud music. So we would have a food fair with a difference. And probably it's good because it would take us back to Culturama when it started. When Culturama started in 74, 75, one of the features of the festival was a food fair with cultural performances, a lot of local food and cultural music, string band, steel band, big drum. That was the format that Culturama food fair took in the early days. So maybe it's not a bad thing that on Monday and Tuesday of next week, where we'll be having a food sale in the heart of Charlestown, Main Street. We'll have cultural performances, the clowns, the bulls, the actors, the mummies, the macajumbies, the masquerades, the whole works.
Any steel pan?
And then we'll be having steel pan music. We have the Sugar Hill String Band. We have the big drum. We are going to be having the poets in the War Memorial Square. And so, not because the loud music is going to be absent, we will still be celebrating Emancipation Day weekend with a cultural feel, with a cultural atmosphere come Monday and Tuesday of next week. So I want to invite you I want to invite all those persons listening to the toolkit or watching the toolkit to come to Nevis for the Emancipation celebration come Monday and Tuesday of next week.
And Abu, I think persons are going to greatly appreciate what is going to happen because, I mean, considering the circumstances with the coronavirus pandemic, persons would understand that you can't do too much. But as you would have stated earlier, it sort of, take us back to where Culturama was 46 years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for viewing this segment of Toolkit. As I would have said earlier, we are celebrating episode 10. We had Antonio Abinati-Liebert out of Nevis, the executive director of the Culturama Committee. Thank you.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our NOSI program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Welcome back to segment 2 of episode 10 of Toolkit. We are here with another cultural icon out of Nevis, Miss Seba Jones. Seba, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I mean, I just had an interview with Abinati-Liebert, very in-depth, very intense, and I'm looking to have one with you as well. I know you would have been involved in a number of cultural activities over the years, and you are also the owner of Royal Rampage Revelers. Tell us about that group.
Well, before I go into that, I would like to thank Tessa for the invite. I feel overwhelmed being here. It's your 10th anniversary, 10th episode, first anniversary for SKN Unchained. So I want to thank you for inviting me here. Repeat yourself.
That's okay. So I want to hear more about Royal Rampage. What is it all about?
Well, Royal Rampage, to be honest, started with my sister over a bowl of soup. We wanted to do something different for Culturama after looking at the past street parade activities, and we just wanted to add something extra. And we are Jones, and we like to be in things. So we also wanted to not only do that, but to encourage participation from other persons who typically would stay on the sidelines and probably complain. So we just wanted to add that extra flair for Culturama.
So, I mean, you, as I would have stated earlier, you have been working with Culturama for a very long time. I understand that 20 years ago, you were crowned queen at the Cultural Queen pageant.
Millennium Queen.
The first Rasta queen.
Yes.
How did that feel? How was the experience?
Well, to be honest, the experience was really good. That was my first time on stage. I've never done anything of that sort of magnitude before. So to do that and win that show was really great at that time. It was, I don't even know what to say because I can't even believe it's 20 years already. So it says a lot about my age, which still I'm still looking good. But it was a great accomplishment, and I'm hoping next year for 2021 that we could actually celebrate my 20th anniversary being crowned queen.
So it means that you are a natural born because it was your first time, and you came out on top. You emerged on top. I mean, that's a remarkable achievement. And you said it was your first time.
First time.
After participating in that show, did it prompt you to engage yourself in any other pageantry shows?
Well, no other pageantry shows. I've honestly been a type of person to stay in the background. So I've worked on a number of Culturama subcommittees over that span. For the 39th and 40th anniversary, I was asked to take up the responsibility of being the junior chair. And so that propelled me with working with a number of persons and developing my skills even more behind the scenes in terms of culture and adding an extra flair to the activity that I so love. Because I love culture. I could be one of the harshest critics to culture, but I always want to see the festival strive. I want to see it grow. So besides me talking, I would add action to what I am doing. So I would always be one to participate in it. Yeah.
So, I mean, apart from participating or working with Culturama, have you worked with anybody else, any community festivals here in St. Kitts and Nevis or across the region?
Well, I've not worked regionally, but locally, Banker's Mass Camp, Kishan Banker Walwin, that's my brother. We started working together for the 39th and 40th anniversary. We paired together for the Junior Cultural Street Parade. Everything that was put on the street was Banker's thought, energy, everything. And from there, we went into Rampage. And he has been with us ever since. When he has his activities for Christmas, we come down, we lend a hand, and we just work really good together. That's my brother. Yeah.
So I mean, with coronavirus canceling or pushing activities to a virtual platform, I mean, I know most of the plans for this year would have been shattered in a sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any other plans going forward for the rest of the year or even next year?
To be honest, right, even thinking about Culturama being cancelled is quite depressing. Imagine my samples for Parade Day reached month-end March just as we were going into lockdown. So, imagine getting your samples and you're looking at the box with, your pieces and picturing what will happen Tuesday. I just packed them up and shut them in my closet because it's like, this won't be possible again. So, it was really depressing. I have Rampagers who still trying to figure out if they should come over to Nevis with the costume and just do something. They message me day in, day out, on the verge of tears. I'm emotionally hurt. And so I could only imagine how they feel. But it's okay. 2021 is going to be bigger and better. Fingers crossed. And I know that, we're going to put something big out there. ABBA is going to be there. I mean, we're going to have somebody's for ABBA again like last year. So we set for next year.
So, Siba, what are your views on Culturama today versus Culturama 20 years ago? What would you add to Culturama today?
Well, honestly, I like FETs. So I like the avenue where ABBA is going in terms of getting more FETs involved and not necessarily moving away from queen shows and so forth. Being a past queen, it may seem kind of shocking for me to say that, but I love FETs. And I like to see people being involved in FETs. So if we could continue along that trend and get more musicians involved, because Culturama, or any festival for that matter, is music. You can't have a festival without music. So if we can have that evolution of music being the center of any festival, I think we would be in a great place. So I'm hoping that next year we have more FETs, more bands coming on stream. I know we have a band that is attached to ToolKit. Hopefully we see them next year being a part of the festival. So that is something that I hope to see continuing, and even more revelers. I could proudly say, looking at where we started with Rampage in 2013 with about 20 people on the road, to last year having about 250, it shows that people want to participate more in the festival. So, that is what we want to see: more music, more fetes, a slight move away from the pageantry, but more involvement with the music and so forth. And I think once we do that, the festivals will be poised in a great direction.
Mm-hmm. Because, Siba, some persons are of the opinion that Culturama is heading down the wrong road. Some persons are saying that Culturama is getting bigger and better. I mean, with the addition of fetes, I think it adds to the festival, and it caters to the younger folks.
Yeah.
Because, this is not 1974 anymore. And so, of course, you would have to grow and evolve. And, of course, we're going to still have to appreciate, where Culturama all started.
Definitely.
Tonight would have been what? Some sort of Queen show or something like that, right?
I think tonight we would have had the food fair. And we would have had Calypso show.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So tonight we would have been having the food fair or the Calypso show. But next week in Nevis, we will be doing some sort of activities. Did Royal Rampage have anything lined up for next week? Anything? And how do you feel about those activities happening?
Devon, you want me to quiet camera?
Tell us.
Well, but this weekend would have been distribution weekend. I could see it now. My peoples would have been coming over from Escape. My revelers from Nevis would have been meeting me by Girls Guide to pick up their costumes. Set. Tuesday. Meeting by Girls Guide. I could see it now. Being fed conch shoulder, conch water, the works, prepping them to go behind Kimmy, EK sound system, just to start, the rampage. Because that is basically what we do. Rampage the road. And yeah, the plans were there. They're in a box in my closet right now.
And I know that must be very depressing. We had months of lockdown.
Months.
And so persons were looking to get out. Persons want to just go out and have a good time. And for the cultural activities happening next week, persons are definitely looking forward to it.
Definitely. Definitely.
And as Abel would have stated earlier, even though it's not the same, it takes you back to
somewhat,
the 70s and the 80s of having cultural food fairs where persons can come out. And it's also, in my opinion, good for the economy. So many persons would have been looking forward to selling their food, selling their art and craft.
Economic
and
revenue,
know that they're getting the opportunity to do so. So, Siba, as we wrap up, what are some of the greatest achievements you have had over the past 20 years? With Royal Rampage, with participating or working with other groups in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, for the past 20 years, I still can't believe it's been that long. But I think to narrow it down, one of my greatest accomplishments or achievements, besides being the chair for the junior parade, what I thought we did a great job because we had full participation from all the schools. Well, besides the private schools, but all the public schools were involved. So I was really grateful for that, and Banker was working with me. So it brought his personality to the forefront, and children gravitate to him. So we got more kids involved then. I think too, in terms of Rampage, starting it as a soup conversation with my sister, and then having 20 persons, I could literally count 20 people being behind core that year, to now having 250, and I know next year is going to be crazy because we would have had a lot of first-timers coming in this year after being on the sidelines and realizing what is happening in Rampage, plus those from before my day ones. I know next year will be problems. So I think, those would be my greatest achievements over the years. I'm always a participant in Culturama. I don't like to stand the sidelines because I like being things. So I would never stay on the sideline and know that I could contribute and make it even greater. So that's just how I am, and that will be me going forward.
Mm-hmm. And Siba, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, if you want Culturama to grow and develop and evolve,
you have to be in it.
Yeah, you must take part. So my last question for you, Siba, where do you see Culturama a few years from now?
To be honest, I see greater participation with persons who would typically stand on the sidelines, because Culturama is evolving. We're no longer the stand the sideline. I mean, you will have your few.
Yes.
I mean, you still have those few critics who will be like, why I have these young ladies barely nothing, right? But those thoughts, that mindset is being overshadowed per se, because more people are being, coming to the forefront and being participatory in whatever events are happening. So I see Culturama growing strength to strength, and even I could see, I don't know how long Abba is going to be with Culturama. I hope he stays for another 5 years. 5 years. I hear him say, he did say 2, but let's try 5 years in there. And I see for the next 5 years, with the plans that he would have put in place this year, I see the festival being top notch even further. So, fingers crossed.
Definitely. And Siba, I would want to thank you for your contribution to Culturama as well as Abo. I mean, you have so many persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, in the diaspora. I mean, persons were even looking to come home this year.
Yeah, I had
46 for 2020. And so Nevisians were really, really saddened when Culturama was cancelled. I mean, Culturama is different to Carnival. Culturama is Culturama. And Siba, again, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. And we're looking to have you back for maybe the 15th episode.
Sure, I like being things. I have no problem.
We have lots more to talk about. So thank you, viewers, for listening. This was segment 2 of episode 10. And stay tuned for segment 3. Thank you.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean, because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Welcome back to segment 3 of episode 10. We are here with Statics of Upset Squad. Tell us who you are.
Wow. Greetings, everybody. I feel kind of nervous now, but come here again. I'm Javits Statics Jefferson, as many would know, and some may not. I'm the lead singer, manager, owner of Upset Squad, which is soon to be internationally known This band is a band of about 5 guys, which are really crazy. I mean, crazy thoughts. Like, we think about anything legally, illegally. Yeah, right now we wish we could be breaking some laws. I mean, as the first segment was saying, it's crazy being locked up. We want to expose our talent, and this is why I'm happy to be here right now on ToolKit. And it's even more special because it's the first anniversary for Unchained,
Yeah, SKN
SKN Unchained, and
Yeah.
the 10th episode. It's like a marker. So I feel proud to be here right now. I want to say thanks very early to Tessa and team, and you, of course, Devon, for having me here.
Where did it all started? Upset Squad.
Well,
Where did the name come from? Because I'm curious.
well, that was actually a discussion between me and a producer I usually work with. We wanted to change the how must I say it? We wanted to change the selection and musical style within our culture. As I don't know if you realize, if you do you go to fets, you do go to performances. Well, if you realize a lot of times, well, you have 3 bands, 4 bands on stage, and the selection is just the same thing. No love lost, but it's the same thing. So the word upset came into like changing that, not as a matter of being vexed, but to turn it around and give people something different, so we don't be the same selection and the same set. If you understand what I'm saying.
So has Upset Squad gone international before? Regional?
Well, we've been to a land that is basically my second home. This is Saint Eustatius. They call it Statia. We've been there last year, and we had a warm welcome. These people, I could tell you, they're friendly. They party different to us. You know what I mean? They treat us like real celebrities in the country. Must give it to them.
So, I mean, with the pandemic cancelling all of the activities, carnival and cultural activities for this year, I'm pretty sure that you guys had some plans for this year. What were some of those plans? And even with most events transitioning to an online platform, are you guys still planning to do something else in the future?
Well, actually, we were planning to do something for Juve. I don't know how successful it would have been, but probably next year around we could plan for that. But in this time, we're not sleeping. We've been in the studio creating moods, moments, tunes.
So, I mean, you guys have been working with Carnival. You guys have been involved in Carnival and different activities across the region. How has that been for you?
It was awesome.
For the band as a
whole. It was
whole?
awesome. For the first time around, we actually was on the last Sugar Mass bar crawl, and he was welcoming. Thanks to Mr. Normils, he reached out to us, and you know what I'm saying, we really rock. We really rock.
That's very good. I mean, with these activities evolving, Culturama, Carnival, and different activities across the region, persons are looking for something new. Persons are looking for something different. You did mention that you guys have been working. You guys have been in the studio. My question for you, what are some of the music, the type of music that you guys focus on?
Well, for me, I call it Wilders and Slop-Hep, generally classed as soca. They call it soca actually for international market, but our local style is Wilders and Slop-Hep, or Pep and Slop-Hep.
So what inspired you to get involved in entertainment?
That's a good question. I think my first toy was a keyboard. And playing it, learning how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, then Joy to the World, just lead to act dirty and back it up and all these things.
So as we end this segment, do you have any words of encouragement for persons who are looking to get themselves involved in entertainment and different activities around Carnival?
Yeah, I would like to say one of the things I always wanted to tell people, always been telling people, is music is a thing where it comes naturally. You could learn it too, but I guess when it comes naturally, you have more passion for it. And you get into, a lot of people get into it about the hype. And the hype just bring you 15 minutes of fame and stuff like that. And it's not always about money, but if you're going to do it the right way, learn the industry, you know what I mean, and just be careful in how you go about doing that.
So thank you so much, Statics, for your discussion about the work that you've been doing in Carnival, about your group, the Upset Squad. It's not the Upset Squad band, it's the Upset Squad. And stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to have a wonderful performance by the Upset Squad. So I would want to encourage you viewers to head on over to Nevis for the cultural activities happening next week. I know Culturama has been cancelled, but we're trying to do something to entertain the Nevisian public. ToolKit is brought to you by SKN Unchained and Caribbean Marketing Solutions. Thank you.
Let's take our time tonight, girl. Above us, all the stars will watch. There's no place I'd rather be in this world.
All the 6 ladies
Eyes
of the squad in the place.
Underneath the chandelier, we're dancing all alone.
Sing it, my brother, sing it.
Reason to hide
So just
what
want
we're
to-
feeling
so.
inside right now. Baby, let's just turn down the lights and close the door. Ooh, I love that type of squad.
Daddy B.
Hey, that's our ToolKit in the house.
Music. I like this, I like this. I like this. Can I sing now?
Yeah. Nice all the 6 ladies in the place. ToolKit in the house. Hey, what we are?
Come on, man, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Can I sing something for the fans? Can I? Oh, I can sing for the fans now?
Talk to the ladies, talk to the
Will
ladies.
it be a pleasure?
Statics, talk to the ladies.
She gonna be alright.
You could come on this side and talk to the ladies.
She gonna be alright.
Alright.
Well, let me talk to the fans now. Check this. You are girl. To my everything. You mean the world to me.
Niceness.
So you mean the world to me. Oh. Tell me, where do I start? Without you next to my. Some call me foolish, but I love you till death do us part.
What?
Say words can't explain all the joy you bring. I'll do anything for you. You're the one I've been waiting on, so I pledge my life to you. Just you mean the world to me. Oh, oh. Say you mean the world to me. Subscribe. My everything. You, yeah, you girl. You are my everything. Check this.
Featuring all the sexy ladies.
T-Bone,
All the sexy ladies.
your turn now, you know.
Let me talk to the gal them.
You're gonna take it front and center, hour.
Let me talk to the sexy ladies.
You're gonna take it front and center, hour.
All the gal them. Sing with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey. All the sexy ladies in the dance tonight. Straight to the other drive. Right up. She was inside of my home.
Oh, yeah.
I asked her to turn around.
Oh, yeah.
Cause she was like her mom.
Oh, yeah.
She turned my life right over. On the day she turned her back, no one ever got to relax.
So what you gonna do?
keep on going back.
Well, she was a bounce.
Still the gal, them school still the gal, them sexy gal, them OR gal, them itchy gal, them sexy gal, kitty shot gal. Say so listen gal, who want you me want? Let's talk to the gal, let's talk to the gal. Yo, so listen gal, you me want? You me need, you me want?
And then you got something else to tell her, man.
All the sexy ladies up. It's all you got something that's nice, short and sweet.
But me not trust them, you know.
You don't trust them?
Me not trust them at all. Hey.
There was a rainbow girl of mine.
Oh, yeah.
The girl was so fine.
Oh, yeah.
She was sexy and scruffy with a sweet little short body. She put me in a day in a sweet and sexy way. No matter what they say, it's the rainbow now we way.
Hey, hey.
Rainbow girl, the sexy girl, all the sexy girl.
It's a red ball.
With a red ball and any kind of sexy girl.
Red ball for the T-Bone, done.
What we do for the girl left? You want the girl left, so we gonna tell the girl left. Sexy lady.
If it's a red ball girl, it's a red ball girl.
You
want. Girl, like you me need. Girl, like you me want. Girl, like you me need. Girl, like you me want. Girl, like you me need. Girl, like you me want.
Look.
Sha-na-na-na-na.
Let's talk to the girl them.
Just a wine.
Talk to the girl them.
So because of wine.
Talk to the sexy
Because of
girl
wine, you
them.
gonna put me on the spot.
Talk to the girl them.
Because of wine, you gonna put me on the spot.
Anything.
Yeah. Music. Yo, big up open. Creative. You don't know. So you can't complain. We live like Larry King. It's ToolKit, baby. I'm watching you from a distance. The way you whining and carrying on. I'm trying to teach them. Hey. Upset Squad live on ToolKit.
Push up on sexy ladies.
Just come in, we got come here. Just come in, we got come here. They're trying to keep away for free, but you ain't leaving them come too close.
Yeah, yeah.
All of your friends are watching me, but what? Then you be a professor. You be a professor. I'm feeling nothing deep back and down, attacking me like a cannibal. Cause there's no life to wind it for, and you got me so into you. No one know we were just a wine. Just a wine. Just a wine. I wanna rub up on your behind. Just a wine. Just a wine. Just a wine. I wanna rub up on your behind. I go eat when you dip.
All the gals.
You go eat when you rock wine, girl. I go eat when you dip, girl. I go eat when you wine on me. Girl, I want you happy, baby.
What? Yes, up to this.
What? How you feeling right now?
I feel like this.
How you feeling?
I want to be loose.
I'm feeling too bounce. I'm feeling too bounce. I'm feeling too bounce. I'm feeling too bounce. Let's go. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the left. Follow. Just clap. Hands up and let me see you.
Just clap.
All of me party stuff.
Just clap.
Yo, Upset Squad.
Just clap.
Let's go. Jump to the ground now. Come let me touch down. Come let me touch down. Come let me touch down. Put up. Yeah, put up. Touch down. Yeah, put up. Touch down. Squad, come let me touch down. One. Hey.
Nice.
Don't forget to live on ToolKit like Larry King.
Nice, baby.
Pick up open interactive one time. Your squad. Set up the thing now. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Yes, go. Bounce to the left, to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Bounce to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Bounce to the left, to the left. Bounce to the right, to the right. Let's go. Clap, just clap. All of the hands, them just clap. Everybody in this session. Just clap. Like that. Just like that. Oh my God. Touch it. Come let me touch down.
Yo, I want to name.
Let me give. Not this stuff, let me give.
What in your
Let's go. Come let me touch down. Yeah. Come let me touch down. Touch down.
Pull up.
You will be alright.
Oh my gosh.
Kingston, you go ask for the supermarket
Oh
to
my
talk
gosh.
to the shoe.
Hey.
Remember the train when you get in by train the item?
Quick for you. Quick for you, Alex.
Yo.
Quick for you, you know.
You see I don't start to sweat?
It's
Because I can't forget.
Now climb the sweat.
I can't forget.
Can't believe it. And I can't believe it.
So you make fun of me now?
And I can't believe it. What we say?
So
I
make fun
can't
of me.
believe it. I can't believe it. I really
Bro,
can't
tell them how
believe
we
it.
go.
Talk your
Come
story.
on, fear enough.
Talk your story.
See, I pull up in my driver. One morning I done sing.
Eh.
And I peep through my window. I see something.
Where you see?
Say I pull up in my driver one morning, I don't sing. Send a peep to me window. This is what I saw. I couldn't believe my eyes when I see me woman taking a back shot.
Oh Lord, her back shot.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I see me woman taking a back shot. Just a back shot. Mash your body. Taking the back shot. Pull up.
Watch your ride. Statics. I'll continue pray for you, okay?
Hey, what my cousin say? What my cousin say again?
Tell them.
Are you playing bite?
I'm going to bring some of the ask rams.
Are you playing bite?
I get bite, and when Grimston he'll go ask for Ram Supermarket to talk to kiss you.
And I'm here to talk
Are you
about.
playing bite?
But you call like you and in the family.
But remember, if you ain't know you're getting bite, you ain't get bited.
Here what happened to me. You hear? This is what happened to me. I pull up in my driveway one morning, I don't sing. And I peep through my window because I hear something. I pull up in my driveway one morning, I don't sing. And I peep through my window. This is what I saw. I couldn't believe my eyes when I see me woman taking a snapshot. I couldn't believe my eyes when I see me woman getting a back shot. Shibale, taking the back shot. How you know about how she's on?
I'm here you went, and I have to wait for tears.
Yeah. But they send you crazy.
Yeah.
But they send you crazy.
Yeah, make sure you eat.
You see it?
You pull it.
And Shibale. Mind over matters.
No, it's this. I want to say I said today, come in.
Let's go. Take a bus roll. Presenter. Make the girl them stop to walk up in the center. Take a bus roll down. Presenter. Make the girl them stop to walk up in the center. Yes. Hey, adapt me a talk out. Yes, adapt me a talk out. Adapt me a talk out. Make all of the girl them all out. Adapt me a talk out. Adapt me a talk out. Adapt me a talk out. I'm all that Christmas for now. Yeah, presenter. Make the girl them stop to walk up in the center. School and down. Center down. Down to center now. Make the girl them stop to walk up in the center. Let's go. Adapt me a talk out. Adapt me a talk out.
Ease up. Static. This is ToolKit, not cartoon. Make you come in with Johnny walk up.
Oh, I thought you was going to tell me it's a school kid.
I want to see it again. Let me see it again for the ladies.
What you want to say again? Me now want to watch me walk up. Hey,
So bring
squad.
something for the guys, them. Bring something for the guys, them.
Run it. Let me burn.
Yeah.
If one of you want to competition,
Let me see. Turn to me. I want to see.
Come on, here now.
Say,
I'm going to stay right, you right?
Good on.
You know, tell me what to do.
Good on.
Okay, cool.
And good on. Just like that. You want me come down? Steady up. Watch out. I'm coming down to the ground. I'm coming down. I wish for you. Where you going now?
They come like you want me cartwheel and split.
I want hot back. Do the hot back, let me see. Yo! Say school and
Yeah, presenter. Pretty girl, let's come to walk up in the center. Let's go and go. Presenter. Pretty girl, let's come to walk up in the center. Adapt me a talk out just like that. Adapt me a talk out. Just like that. Adapt me a talk out. Adapt me a talk out. Oh, let's go.
slow. What you want?
Talk to them, man. Talk to them, man. Talk to them, talk to them, talk to them.
Soca. Sweet soca. Jelly soca. Apple soca. Aesthetic soca. She want the soca. She want the soca. She want the soca. What she want? She want a red soca, a orange soca, a green soca, a blue soca, coconut soca, carrot soca. She want all kind of soca. She want all kind of soca, man. She want the soca. Hey, she want the soca. She want the soca. She want the soca. Hey, Statics, I want you to mash up the place. I want to mash up the place. Hey,
Let's go. Hey, girl. You how you set it in motion. Stick sexy, you don't need the lotion. When you give me what's like the ocean, I wanna give you my love like the ocean. From the time that you step in the place, got everyone inside the bed. Right now, Statics want to taste, so I set it up to surface. You look good, girl. Statics don't mean to be. Girl, you put it in the mood. I want to behave to like I should. Hey, you look good, girl. You look good, girl. You look good, girl. You look good, girl. So we just want to come. Come to me, come to me, yeah. Come to me, come to me, yeah. Come to me, come to me. Come let me set up the thing, girl. Come to me, 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 come to me. Come let me set up the thing, girl. Hey, you know if I did the rasta, I would have split your chicken and pasta.
raise it up there.
Raise it up there. Raise it up there.
Raise it up there.
Hey, girl. Me trying to stand up my sugar. It's spitting me mouth getting sweeter. My resistance getting weaker. Say girl, don't wait on the hype up. Right now me loving this feature. Just rock to the bass and the beat. Yeah, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Say right now I want you from good, girl. Right now you're looking good. Hey,
Good girl.
you're looking good, girl. So me just want you come. Come give me, yeah. Come give me, yeah. Come give me, come let me set up the thing now. Come give me, yeah. Come give me, come give me, come let me set up the thing now.
Sexy ladies.
How you feeling? You good?
Hi.
You good? You good? You know how I feel? You know how I feel? I'm feeling so nice in the party. I just want to wine and a shorty. Hey, young girl, don't hold it back. Could see you and bring it back. Right now, why you be attack? Please don't let me waste this chat now. From your beauty looking so right, and your body so appetizing. Yeah, I just want to hold you so tight. So baby, I want to feel it tonight. Cause when you whine and creep down low, the thing feels so magical. I feel it so special. Yeah, cause when you whine and touch so, I could never be lazy. You got me so crazy. Say, from your friend I'm going to chalet. I know what you want. I see you too. I see you. So I just hold on to this button. So right now your hands in trouble. Put it all in the face. And let me speed up the pace. Yeah, just hold on to this button. So right now your hands in trouble. I just want to jump a woman. When I'm feeling so much
And I'm just so sweet like sex. Don't fit on officially. And they're watching well. So just shut up your own and tell. So young as a walk up your ways and bubble. So right now we're causing trouble. Put it all in the face. And let me speed up the pace. Yeah, just walk up your ways and bubble. So right now we're causing. I just want to jam a woman. Make you fight up no contention.
Push.
Wow.
Cocaine style statics.
You feel the bunks?
Cocaine style statics.
You feel the bunks?
Listen good.
What you say she want?
Cold.
What you say she want?
Wood.
What you say she want?
Cold keel.
What you say she want?
Looking she good.
What you say she want?
Coals.
What you say she want?
Wood.
What you say she want?
Yeah.
Hey. Link up a girl from station. Say she wanna get some wood. Say she wanna rebuild she dog house, cause things ain't going so good. So next thing we jump in a smart car. She said man we not going too far. My girl pussy right back. So me back on the ship. Push.
Watch your right, watch your right, watch your right. Watch your
Wet
right.
it, let me set it. Link up a girl from station. Say she wanna get some wood. Say she wanna rebuild she dog house, cause things ain't going so good. So next thing we jump in a smart car. She said man we not going too far. My girl pussy right back. She said back on the ship. Oh yeah, oh yeah. She said back on the ship. She said back on the ship. I push it, I push it. I push it back on the ship. Yeah. I push it, I push it, I push it. My girl is based so far. I push it, I push it, I push it. I can't get it in that far. So what we gonna do?
Tell me what do.
What we gonna do?
Tell me what do.
So what we gonna do? Me tell she be open a little bit, so we don't damage the ride. Me lie down, we end up in a trench now, over the hillside. She asking if I got tools. This girl must take me for food. So we just keep up the jump, and back on the deep. Yeah, I said back on the deep. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I said back on the deep. Check. I'm back on the deep. I'm pushing. I'm pushing. I'm pushing.
Where go? Who's doing something along?
She said, I don't keep it down. She make me use me. She make me use me. I shift to the left. I shift to the right. I try pull it out and she said, no. She said, leave it in the back. She said, leave it in the back. Oh yeah. She said, leave it in the back. Right there. She said, leave it in the back. Oh yeah. It's a true story, baby. It's a true story. I say it's a true story. It's a true story.
I hope you know.
Say it to me,
that
baby.
this has nothing to do with you.
I understand.
It's personal. Myself and I.
Turn on the party right now.
Turn it on.
What is this flipping?
Good job.
Let's roll it on.
It's time to
We're gonna just roll it on while I'm flip it.
and big girls don't
Ladies,
Shake.
ladies.
I didn't feel like.
Good shit.
I didn't still don't get.
All says y'all.
Let's go.
You should be mama if you can.
Gonna say.
You should be mama if you can. You should be mama if you can. You should
that, give me that, give me that, give me that. Just shake what your mama gave you, girl. Just shake what your mama gave you, girl. All the girls just shake, just shake, just shake what your mama gave you, girl. Just shake, just shake, just shake what your mama gave you, girl. Just shake, just shake, just shake what your mama gave you, girl. Just shake, just shake, just shake what your mama gave you, girl.
Sexy lady studio. I want to see it. I want to see how you look in the mirror and walk up to this one. Look in the mirror and walk up to this one. All the sexy ladies.
Wow. Bring him up, bring him up.
Sex, I want to see the girl in this one. I want to see them look
What is
back.
a flat button?
Look back, look back. You want to see what drama?
You know what we're gonna do? Jalo, we're going to take control of the girl. This is how we take control of the girl.
Look back, look back, look back, look back, look back. Yeah, look back.
Into this same charm.
Yeah.
Girl, you know you can make.
Yeah, look back. Watch it.
Hold on.
I want to see what it is. What it is.
Walk up your body to the same charm. Say, girl, you know you make me body warmer. When you look back, watch him in the face and walk up. Watch him in the face and walk up. Walk up your body to the same charm. Say, girl, you know you make me body warmer. Girl, look back to watch him in the face and walk up. To watch him in the face and walk up. Hey, walk up your body to the same charm. Say, girl, you know you make me body warmer. Girl, look back to watch him in the face and walk up. You watch him in the face and walk up. What? Did I do that? Did I?
Guys, when you jump, I want everybody walk out. I want you walk out. I want you walk out. Wait, I tell you walk out.
Wet it.
Walk, come with me. Walk. I want you walk. Make the people walk. Make the people walk.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's see. Walk.
let me show you something.
2 step. 3 step. One step forward.
Let me show you something.
2 step forward.
Let me show you something.
3 step forward. Let me. 4. Everybody,
Squad.
lift it up. Watch good.
Take one. Watch good. Take one. Watch good.
Load the dance. Load the dance for the carnival coming, you know. Load the dance. Size, so you show them again. We can stand like this.
Squad,
Let's go.
set it, let me wet
Chop
it.
it. Work some serious.
Watch good. Take one. Watch good. Take one.
Ready?
Take one. Take. Let's go. 1 step forward, let me show you something. Take 2 step forward, let me show you something. Take 3 step forward, let me show you something. 4 step forward, let me show you. Everybody, watch good.
Watch good. Watch good. Watch good.
Let's go. 1 step, set 2 step, set 3 step, set 4 step. Let's go. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step.
Everybody, watch good.
Let's go. Watch good.
Oh my gosh. Hey, slick it. Slick it.
Nice. You see when the woman always a complaint. You see when the woman always a complaint. We just want something to do with more.
Yeah. Give me the house. Give me the house. Because like that, yeah, okay.
So do the moon, yeah.
Ladies, give me the work, and get me in the yard.
Give me the one.
Give me some, give me the scream and ball.
Give me the one.
Send it up like a China war.
Give me the one.
All this is the girl that don't let me back. God, just give me,
Give her my man up your waist, yeah.
and give me.
Hands on your waist, yeah.
God, give me.
Let me get a taste, yeah.
God, give me.
Give me the one. Give me the one. Give me the one. Give me the one. Chop.
Oi. Then right up. ToolKit massive.
Wow.
ToolKit massive.
Wow.
Don't get tuning every Saturday night for ToolKit. That's the thing going on.
Right now it's alright. I'm gonna leave you in a hype.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you in a hype.
Oh
But
yeah.
we gotta go. We gotta go. Give me the one.
Too long on two.
Give me the one.
Give me something like a super glue.
Give me the go. Yeah.
Yeah, give me the one.
Yeah. I said that give me.
Some of them have so much things to say.
Yeah.
Chat
Oh, yeah,
behind your. Some of them have so much things to say. Chat behind your back and smile in your face.
A reality
They talk
thing, you
about
know.
you, they talk about me, like the
reality thing.
closet's empty. So let we live
Yo.
our lives today.
Where you
No
going?
matter
Come
what
here, come here, come here, come here,
nobody
come here.
say.
Bring her back, bring her back, bring her
Do
back.
what's right,
Bring her back.
but when you see a hater, tell them
Watch
every
your
day.
minute. No, you come to me, you come to me.
So much things
You come to me, you come to me. No,
Chat
no,
behind
why
your
she come
back
to me?
and smile in your face.
I want she come to
Talk
me.
about you,
She don't have to come.
Okay, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm
like the
coming.
closet's empty. So let we live our lives today. No matter what nobody say. Do what's right, but when you see a hater, tell them every day.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.